Do you remember the 2008 market crash? I had just had my son. We had a share in a commercial shopping center and some apartment buildings and land, and I was just really nervous to see what would happen. Many people probably have their own story of where they were at that time, and now you're starting to wonder if we're going to have another market crash like that here in the Seattle area. Now, I will say from my own observations, the market is certainly frothy. There are bidding wars, lack of inventory, and especially at those entry-level price points, like the $500,000 to $600,000 range, there's a lot of competition. And so many people are asking if we feel the real estate market is likely to have a housing crash. And, because the saying is, what goes up must come down. I don't know if that's entirely true with Seattle real estate, but I understand how scary it can be thinking about what's going to happen and what you should do to position yourself. I still own property here in Seattle and across the country, and I'm in the market just like you. I'm Emily Cressey with HomePro Associates at HomeSmart Real Estate here in Seattle, and after buying and selling many properties myself over the years, I can tell you this is a very unpredictable time. But let's compare what's really happened back in 2006 and if that's similar to what's happening now. So back then, we had one of the biggest run-ups and then crashes in American history. According to the National Association of Realtors economist, Lawrence Young, such a frenzy of activity is reminiscent of 2006 and raises questions about the bubble and the potential for a painful crash. His answer is, there is no comparison. Don't worry. The dubious adjustable rate mortgages and income-only loans or stated income loans were a problem back then because the loans didn't require income documentation and the payments could adjust and quickly be outside of the affordable price range of the people who had bought them. So 14 years ago, there were 3.8 million homes listed for sale, and builders were putting up about 2 million new units a year. And now inventory is only about 1.5 million homes for sale, and builders are underproducing relative to historical averages. So let's break this down. First, Yun said there is no comparison between now and 2006. Then he said one of the major contributors to the crash back in 2006 was the deployment of the stated income loans, which put people in houses they could not really afford. Buyers were being approved for loans that today's lending guidelines, there would be no way that they would be able to get those loans. Nowadays, the lenders want your firstborn child and they call your work and make sure you still have a job, and they need lots of documentation. And the loans that people are using to buy are the typical 30-year fixed rate loans. So what was really driving that bubble were these risky lending practices where people who wouldn't have been able to buy were buying, and then they weren't able to afford it and they had to sell. But that is not what's happening right now. It should give us some relief in respect to the housing market that we're in and its sustainability. Homes appraising at exceedingly high values from 1 week or 1 month to the next were also part of the problem because they were just going up and up and up on the price. And that's not happening anymore either. There are stringent guidelines for appraisals and the amount of money that a bank will lend on a home. And in fact, many buyers who are currently paying way more than the listing price of the home are promising the buyers that they'll pay the overage out of pocket if the home doesn't appraise for full value. So appraisers are willing to kill deals. So banks aren't overlending and people are only getting in if they have the cash to do that. So we're getting much better qualified buyers entering the market at this point in time. So I just don't see the same type of market conditions that led up to the crash before. And the market pundits seem to think that we're looking at clear sailing through 2021. But if you have additional real estate questions or you just want to chat about how the market's going in preparation for maybe doing a deal a year or two down the road, that is no problem. We are here to educate you and get you the information you need. I love questions. I love it if you can stump me with a question, because then I can go out and learn something new and share it with you here. So please feel free to reach out. Let me know what's on your mind when it comes to real estate. And remember, we are here to serve.